So today's video is gonna be on how to pass a state survey, okay? I just had the state in the building. So they were there, I was there 3 days. They were there all 3 days. So it was stressful because you just know they're watching every little thing. And they basically watched tray pass and that was it. So we got so lucky. Like, they didn't follow any of the nurses for anything. But just to let you know that, like, never happens. Like, it's so rare for me. I just can't believe it. Like, I'm still in shock over it. They literally did not watch us for anything. So you just never know what they're gonna do. So basically, I wanted to go through what I did when I first stepped in the building with the state surveyors there. So basically, I got up early at home, sure I had food there because I didn't want to waste time waiting for a break. Not on those 3 days. Like, I just wanted my food right there. So I got up early. I got there a couple minutes early. Got report. Got the keys. Counted my narcs. Made sure I signed out my book. After my count, after I got my report, I checked my patients because that night shift nurse is still there. Bam, check my patients, made sure they're okay. Made sure I had all my legs wrapped that need to be wrapped, like the ACE wraps, the compression for lymphedema, all them things were in place because once they get up, they need that compression to keep the fluid out of their legs because they're gonna be sitting instead of lying down with their feet up. Okay, so I did those things. Went straight to my cart. Made sure all my house stocks were not expired. Made sure all my insulins were not expired. They're 28 days, unless it's Lantus, I believe it's 42 days. Unopened insulins, I threw them in the fridge, but there were none. I would have threw them in the fridge, but there were none. Eye drops, they have to be dated, and they're 28 days too. So I made sure all those were dated and not expired. Then I went to my liquids drawer. Made sure the only thing that was in that liquids drawer was liquids. So I put like the glycol powder in a separate drawer. Went through the cart, made sure there was no treatment stuff. I found the unopened hydrocortisone, that is not allowed. Then I made sure that everything was separated. I do have a whole video on this. Like, just make sure make sure all the eye drops are together. All the insulins are together. All the blood sugar supplies are together. Liquids, make sure they're together, and so forth. All the inhalers, make sure they're together. O2 supplies, like if you have an oxygen tube, put them with the inhalers. Pretty sure they're allowed on the cart. Make sure I have my name badge on. Make sure you have your stethoscope when you come, because if you're doing peg tubes or something, you have to auscultate bowel sounds. Like, you can't just hang a peg tube. Like, I said this in another video too. Do not forget all the stuff you learned in nursing skills. Like, do those things in real life. It's not for nothing. Like, this is how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to auscultate bowel sounds before you start a peg tube. Know that their bowels are working. Like, know, oh, okay, they had a bowel movement today, so they probably have bowel sounds. Like, do your proper procedures. Like, it's not for nothing. Another thing you need to check your cart for is bleach wipes and cavity wipes. Cavity wipes are for everything. Bleach wipes are only for the glucometer. If you have the prepackaged bleach or the one in the tub, make sure when you're wiping off your glucometer with the bleach, make sure that you're wringing it out a little bit, so you're not soaking it, because it will make the machine malfunction, and you don't want to do that in front of the baby. That's just unnecessary. And then the other thing with the bleach wipes and the cavity wipes, read manufacturer's instructions, and when you wipe off the glucometer, you have to time it. This for 3 minutes, so I always do 3 minutes. That would be my plan if the state was in front of me, because I want to ensure I'm killing everything I can and kill. Like, I don't want to bring in a C. diff spore to my patient on a glucometer or any other piece of equipment. So read the instructions. There is a wet time for the chemical that you're using. You need to watch. You can't just be like, oh, okay, it's done. It's all killed, like, I'm good. I wiped it down. Take it into the patient's room all wet. No, don't do that. Make sure you have your watch. And then when you are working with the state surveyor and they're right there watching you, talk out loud to them, be like, I'm waiting 3 minutes, because that's per manufacturer's instructions to kill the maximum amount of microorganisms. And you can't just sit it down apart. Like, you need a clean surface. I recommend having tissues in your top drawer, your med cart, and put that down as a barrier so it's clean. Or you can use the plastic cup and put the glucometer in the plastic cup and sit it. So once you prick your patient's fingers to get the blood for the blood sugar check, you can't use the alcohol pad that you just used to clean their finger off. Also, you have to let that alcohol dry. Okay, so now one more thing with the cart. Check your cart for loose pills real quick before you start your medicals, because they can come up at any time and say, I want to see the cart. And you have to hand them the keys. You have to stand right there, I think. You can ask them, like, should I leave, or, you know what I mean? Like, see what they want you to do. But they can check your cart at any time. And everybody knows it's not all on you. Once you take the keys, it's your cart. Okay, make sure your applesauce is dated, fresh. Make sure your water is dated and fresh. Spoons have to be down, blah, blah, blah. Common sense. So that's basically what I did when I walked in the door. Then they did tray pass. I was there for that. Make sure, I would recommend that you have all your feeders for the end, because once you sit down them trays in front of the feeders, you cannot go and continue tray pass. Once you sit down a tray in front of a feeder, they must be fed. Like, so have them be last, and then one person sits a tray down, one person sits. One person sits a tray down, one person sits with the feeder. And then it goes like that, and you have to have enough staff so there's enough people to pass out all the trays. Like, you can't sit down the tray in front of the feeder and then continue with the tray pass, and your feeders are sitting there with the tray in front of them, not eating. That's not allowed. Okay, the other thing, you have to have adequate number of chairs for the feeders. Like, if you have 6 feeders, you better have 6 chairs available. Okay, no scrambling at the last minute. Like, know how many chairs do I have available, and think about these things before the state comes. Like, how many feeders do I have? How many feeders are going to be in the dining room? Okay. Also, I don't think you're allowed to wipe the patient's mouth with their clothing protector. You have to have napkins. You cannot feed a patient standing up. That is a violation. Also, if they want to, they can get you for, like, it has to be one table. Like, if there's 4 people at a table, 1, 2, 3, 4 trays have to be down in front before of those patients before you start on the next table. So the trays have to come up to the floor in a certain order. So this is something you need to get down before the state comes. Like, how, like, be involved in tray pass if you can, or ask your unit manager, like, are we ready for tray pass? Like, blah blah blah. Basically it, I think, with tray pass. If I forgot anything, let me know. And then with the med pass, do all your patients that are hard first. Like, sign them out fast, like peg tubes, crushed pills. You know those patients that have a million questions and, oh, can I get my pain meds, and oh, can I get this, and oh, can I get water, and oh, can I get this and that. Do those patients that are gonna be a challenge with the state, do them first. Sign them out fast. Do not have them lingering in the computer or the med or the binder if you still have binders. Parameter patients with blood pressure parameters. Do your digoxin. Do your eye drops fast. Do your all the procedures. Do them fast. Sub-Qs, but we all know insulins. That's a whole different. We're not talking about insulins, but like heparins. Do them. Inhalers. Do them. Dysphagia patients. Do those. The ones that take forever. Do those first. Then you keep like 5 patients that are just like, and they're done. And they don't say nothing, they don't ask you nothing, they don't have dysphagia, they don't have thick liquids, they're not crushed, they don't have no eye drops, they don't have no, like, save them. I even tell my patients, like, look, the one, because sometimes I do the easy patients first when the state is not there. So I'll tell them patients, like, if they are like alert oriented, and I usually do them early, I'll be like, look, the state's in the building, I'm saving you for like closer to 10 o'clock. Like, I'll let them know, and they'll be like, oh, okay, like the state, and they laugh and stuff, they think it's funny. But I'll let them know, because I don't want them to be like, well, why are you doing me late? And then the state's right behind me. Show your patients, like, set yourself up for no issues. Like, do those patients that are just like, bam, and they're done. And then just save them. And then whenever they walk up to you, you have those patients waiting for them. Before you start them, make sure they're in the room, make sure they're sitting up, make sure they're positioned to swallow pills, make sure they're ready for you, make sure they're waiting for you. You don't want to go in there and then it's like, oh, they went in the bathroom and now you're standing there with pills and a state surveyor behind you. Not a good situation. Just be like, I will be back in a minute with your meds. Like, you'll be ready for me, right? You know, like, however you do it, like, get that patient waiting for you. Bang out everyone else. However you gotta get it done, get it done. Do meds anywhere but their room. Can't do meds in the dining room. You can't do meds in the hallway. You can't do blood pressure anywhere but their room. And even in their room, you need to provide privacy. And also with the med pass, the thing you need to remember, you might have been working there for months or years or weeks, and you know that this patient is so-and-so. You know this patient is chained up. Like, you don't need to check her armband. So those are the things you need to remember when the state is there. You need to check the armband, and you need to knock on your door, close the door behind you when you're doing a med pass. Pull the curtain between the patient, because if there's another patient in the room, sharing the room, you need to provide the patient who you're working with that privacy, even from the roommate, okay? So check your armbands. I don't care if you've been doing this patient for 25 years, you check the armband. Because you're showing them you're confident and you know how to operate. They need to see that. Because if you get a stickler, it'll get you on any little thing. So every little thing you can do, just do it. And make sure you have your name tag. I don't know if I mentioned it. That's one of the most easiest things you can do. Have your stethoscope. When you're doing insulins, bring the med cart to the door. Still lock it, still cover your names up, but have it at the door so you can just throw the sharp right in that container. Then take your gloves off. Wound care, that's a whole other video, because that's a whole procedure. Eye drops are each eye is a separate procedure. You can't do bam bam both eyes. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But if you watch this long, thank you so much. Please hit like and subscribe, and that is it. That's how you pass the state survey. When I heard that the state was in the building, I was at home. Guess where I went? Straight from my nursing skills book. I looked up eye drops, I looked up inhalers, I looked up wound care, I looked up PEG tube. Like a PEG tube, you have to do everything separate. You can't mix the meds all in one cup, and like, just look at your nursing skills book, okay? Make sure you got your procedures down. If you have anything to add, like any of your tips for the state, put them in the comments. And if you have questions, let me know. Hopefully I can answer it. And that is it. I'll talk to you guys soon.